This journey begins way back in January 2017 at my cousin's engagement party, where my dad mentioned he wanted to go on a long distance walk. Yep, you guessed it, to Ariah Park. Why on earth Ariah Park? Well, that bit comes later. I'm sure he thought we would think it was a silly idea, but we loved it and straight away we jumped on board. It can't be that hard, I thought. We told so many people that day what we wanted to do. It was a big idea with no plan yet. It was at this engagement party my mum's family could start to see what this disease was doing to her. The family doesn't get together all that much anymore, so seeing her like this was a huge shock to them. We tried to explain the disease to them. Sclero what, they would say. Scleroderma, we would jump in. Like us, no one had heard of this disease, but they could see how quickly it was changing my mum. It was at this point it made me realise we could combine the two together. We could do a long distance walk for my mum and all the other scleroderma sufferers out there, and we could raise awareness so more people would know about this disease, and we could even try and raise some money along the way to put towards research so the doctors could learn more about this disease. Many months went into planning this walk. We had to get permits, write traffic management plans, find insurance to cover us, plan our route, change the route, estimate how long it was going to take to walk, find sponsors, write to hotels, pubs and clubs, prepare media releases, sort out equipment, buy safety equipment, and ensure that we complied with our permits. We were amazed by how many people wanted to jump on board. Our family friend Roman put his hand up to be our support driver. He was giving us 3 weeks of his life. Such a beautiful offer. My granddad also wanted to be a part of this journey. He is over 80 years old and put a surgery on hold so he could also be with us. This was no easy job. This job would be our eyes and ears, making sure that we were safe at all times. A huge responsibility. Then there were all the back end things, the things that were happening behind the scenes to ensure this walk could happen, the stuff people just don't see. Without this, the walk would not be possible. My sister was such a huge help, writing off to media, helping with the social media, reaching out to companies for sponsorship, helping with the fundraising, reaching out to local community pages along the way. Even her hubby Simon helped with reviewing documents. It was a real family affair. So many companies jumped on board to make this journey possible. Our gold sponsor, Access Group Solutions, looked after our transport, safety equipment, tracksuits, and first aid. Work Scene supplied all our high-vis clothing. Letter Art, Signs and Graphics donated all of our signage for our walk. We set our target of $20,000, a figure that seemed so huge at first, but we really wanted to make a difference. So our donation king, also known as Dad, jumped into gear. So many companies were so generous. A special thank you to Ram Air Conditioning, Lateral Projects, Smithfield RSL, TLC Indoor Gardens, RVE Plumbing, Spa Supermarkets, Mervac, HLB Man Judd, Active Recruitment, and the list goes on and on. As we left the big smoke and entered these little country communities, we were blown away by the kindness and generosity of people. People we didn't know were opening their hearts, their homes, and their wallets to us. They were so supportive of what we were doing. They embraced it. I can honestly say I've never witnessed such kindness before. It's mind-blowing. Did you know that we raised over $8,000 just in cash donations along the way? Incredible. This walk was not just about raising money. Equally, we wanted to raise awareness about this horrible disease. To be able to get our message out there, we needed the help from the media. We want to thank That's Life, Win News, Prime News, ABC Sydney News, ABC Riverina, the MacArthur Chronicle, Good Morning MacArthur, the Southern Highland News, the Temora Independent, and the Yass Tribune. You all believed in us and all played such an important part in getting our story out there. So back to Ariah Park. Why on earth Ariah Park? This is a tiny little town with huge personality where my grandparents were born and bred. A place that my dad used to go to whilst he was growing up. A place my dad used to take my mum to in the early years, and where my nan used to take us on the school holidays. We had spent so much time growing up in this tiny little town. So many beautiful memories had been created here, and we wanted to share what a special place it is. This walk was no easy walk. I can honestly say it was one of the hardest things I've ever completed. We struggled each and every day. No amount of training could prepare us for this walk. Sure, we walked pretty much every day in the months leading up to it, but we did not walk 35 kilometers each day for 13 days straight. And to top it off, we all suffered a non-walking injury early on, which we had to persevere with. We pushed through pain barriers like no other. This was not just a physically tough challenge. Mentally, it was exhausting. But in our darkest moments, Mum was there cheering us on. She was our little ray of sunshine. The pain we were experiencing was nothing compared to what she faced every day. And still, she managed to smile and encourage us the entire journey. She was our hero. A beautiful soul who put us first like she has our entire life. We were so lucky she could be a part of this journey with us. Without her, I'm not sure we could have gotten through it. Someone asked me to describe what it was like to walk on a journey this far, and I was completely stuck for words. Finding the words to describe it was almost impossible. All of your senses are in overload. There is so much to take in. What you see, what you feel, what you smell. You see so many things you just don't see when you're driving through. What you can drive in an hour can literally take us more than 2 days to walk. We saw things that took our breath away. The land, the animals, the sky, the freezing mornings, the warm sunshine, the icy winds, and no 2 moments were ever the same. Our senses were in overdrive the entire time. 3 adults walking together, getting up close and personal with the animals. We would baa at the sheep, moo at the cows, neigh at the horses like crazy kids. We got the chance to let go of our everyday stresses and just be silly. And boy, were we silly. We sang out loud, danced goofy dances, played childish games, and no one held back. We were all as silly as each other, and it was just perfect. We rescued animals along the way. A little lamb who had its head stuck in a fence. Andrew, a true city boy, jumped straight over the fence and ran to help. He freed the lamb and it went running back to Mum. He showed no fear. He just followed his instincts. It was so beautiful to watch. And then there was the barn owl that we found on the side of the road. We thought it was roadkill. As we walked past, it moved. It had been hit by a car and was in shock and had some pretty extensive injuries. Dad picked him up, wrapped him in a towel and carried him close to keep him warm. I called wires and organised for him to be picked up. We had to hand over the owl to Mum. She made sure he was comfortable whilst we got to our destination. Mum was petrified, but we felt as if we had made a difference in our own little way. I got to see a completely different side to my dad. Dad has always been the enforcer. He got his name Grumpy for being exactly just that, grumpy. He is the boss, he is my dad. But on this journey, someone took that person away. He stepped down from his duties as dad and became my teammate. He talked to us like a friend. He taught me some new colourful words, and he engaged in childish games of I Spy. We talked about bowel movements. Yep, you heard right. And he does have the best air guitar. And for 13 days straight, I did not get into any trouble. I was loving this. And yes, I pushed the boundaries. He would just laugh at me and roll his eyes. But in all seriousness, he amazed me. At 58 years old, he led the way nearly the entire walk. He was there pushing me outside my comfort zone. He believed in me and taught me always to push yourself that little bit more, that extra 5 kilometers each day. We engaged each and every car. This was our mission. We would proudly hold our signs so all the cars knew what we were doing. We would wave and smile to everyone that went past us. And everyone that waved back gave us a thumbs up, tooted their horn, or yelled words of encouragement. It really made our day. We knew that we had connected with you. And for all those people that looked us up after this had happened and took the time to message us or donate, you are truly special. Thank you so much. And as we got closer and closer to the end, our energy levels picked up. We could not believe we had walked this far. The finish line was in our sights, and even though we hurt all over, we knew we just had to push ourselves that little bit more. We were over halfway now. There was no way we were going to give up. The determination to get to the finish line was stronger than ever. Along the way, we met some very special scleroderma sufferers. These people were beautiful people with beautiful souls. They reached out to us on this journey. They felt alone and isolated, and some of them had never met someone else with scleroderma before. This journey is not just about my mum, but it was for them as well. We were walking for each and every one of them. We wanted them to know that they did not have to fight this battle alone, that we are there by their side and will continue to be long after this walk is completed. As we got closer to the finish line, there were lots of preparations that were taking place. Dad's cousin Julie had organised a community barbecue, raffles, some classic cars to welcome us. The community of Ariah Park had all pulled together and were getting ready for our arrival. I cannot thank Julie and Bevan enough for their help. You are both amazing people and you should be so proud of the place you call home. I had some surprises planned for my mum. She had no idea. A long list of people that had been so special in my mum's life had made the journey to be at the finish line. With only one road into Ariah Park meant that they actually had to travel past my mum, and she didn't even see them. Her sister, with personalised number plates, made it past her undetected. Some of them even tooted their horns as they passed us. We laughed so much. She didn't pick it at all. I will not forget that moment we saw Tamora on a sign. We just looked at it, started pointing to it, jumping up and down. It didn't matter that there was still 100 kilometers to go. It was on a sign. It was in our sights. Being away from my kitties for almost 2 weeks was difficult. I missed them more than ever, but I knew that they were in good hands. Nan stepped up and took on parenting duties, and it was no easy feat. With training, sporting commitments, homework, lunches, drop-offs, pickups, dinner, washing, it was a mammoth task. Thank you so much, Nan, for your help. Matisse would video call often to see how we were going. Seeing them for the first time in weeks brought tears to my eyes. My little boy ran as fast as he could with his arms wide open ready for the biggest hug, and then a special hug with Talia where she whispered, "I'm proud of you, Mum." Tears of joy ran down my cheeks. Carisha, Simon and the little ones had also arrived. It was great to see them. So this leads us to my mum's surprises. At this point I need to thank my Auntie Di for helping organise this for me. Kelly, one of my mum's dearest friends, was the first person she saw. Kelly had been calling the entire trip for updates and telling her she could not wait until the walk was over so they could see each other. My mum's face was priceless. It was so cute. She was almost hyperventilating. Kelly got the biggest hug ever and she joined us on our walk to Ariah Park. Next was Nettie, then Carol and Brittany, then Jeff, Max and Julie, plus some fishing club friends. The smile on my mum's face was the biggest I've seen in a long time. We arrived at the corner leading into Ariah Park. Oh my, the classic cars that awaited us were incredible. Mum got into this old-fashioned ambulance which led the crew into Ariah Park. She sat in the front seat with the window down, waving like a queen as we rolled down the main street. The other cars followed us. It was a welcoming party fit for a queen. Her surprise wasn't over yet. I had one of her oldest friends waiting for her at the end. As she got out of the car, Sharon held her arm. My mum did not know she was there, and then she whispered something in her ear, and the look of shock as my mum realised who she was. There was not a dry eye in Ariah Park. My mum honestly thought she would never see her again, that their lives had gone in different directions. This proves that true friends can spend years apart, but when they meet, it's exactly the way that they had left it. My mum's sister Jan also made the drive down to be with her. Something my mum was not expecting at all. Mum was lucky enough to have two of her sisters there, which was so important to her. And what an amazing reception we got from Ariah Park. We met Myrtle, who happened to be the best scone maker in town and had made over 100 scones for us. She's close to 90 years old, and we found out that she's a distant relative. The supermarket donated the sausages for a community sausage sizzle, and the locals all donated items for a raffle which raised over $600. Not to mention the individual donations from the town. Ariah Park pulled together, and I believe over $4,000 was donated from this tiny little town. So our walk is completed, and I think this summary sums up our walk well. 449.1 official kilometers walked. 578,035 official steps, 1 lamb and 1 barn owl rescued. A gazillion honks, waves, smiles, memories of big sky, big country and big-hearted people. We decided on this walk that this journey will be the beginning of a bigger legacy. We don't want to stop this journey here. We want to build on it, raising more awareness and a lot more fundraising to help find a cure. So we are sticking to the 500,000 step theme, and we have a very special announcement coming up soon.